welcome to Solar Eclipse Monday. How we doing? Evan and Tiki after an incredible sports weekend, which we'll get to in a minute. But I want to tell you, when that moon darts in front of the sun and we get 97% darkness or coveringness or whatever the hell it's called, we will provide you live coverage right here on WFAN. Our very own Sean Morash has the glasses, official Eclipse glasses. He will walk the streets of New York City, and we will get live coverage a little after 3 o'clock as we as a city and as a country get to experience an eclipse.
Sean, do you feel safe with those glasses on?
Look, if I know anything about the West Isle Public Libraries, they don't give out anything flimsy here, all right?
I must admit, I don't want to say this prior to the eclipse, but I want to be honest with you, so I'll say it prior to the eclipse. Do not follow what I'm about to say. Just understand loudmouth on radio has opinion, okay? I believe these glasses are Fugazi.
Why Fugazi?
Because, like, every day the sun is out, or at least most days the sun is out. Yeah. Sometimes they're blocked by clouds. Are you telling me today poses any more of a risk to our eyes than Sunday at the beach?
Well, only because the corona gets really bright.
The corona?
Because it gets dark and then it's light, really light on the outside. But, by the way, you shouldn't stare into the sun on a Tuesday.
That's true.
Much less an eclipse Monday. Right? You shouldn't be looking at the sun directly anyways. So I guess it's a little bit more intense. If I knew the science, I should know this because I've been listening to podcasts about this all weekend.
You got down into the eclipse rabbit hole?
I got into a major eclipse rabbit hole. Like all the stars that we're going to see or planets that we're going to see because it's so dark this afternoon. How long it's going to last and what you should and shouldn't do, what it means, how scientists are going to study if the flares that come off the edge of the sun. So, I mean, this will be fun.
It will be fun, and we will provide you coverage right here on WFAN. A big show today. We'll get to a lot of your phone calls. We got a nice sports programming announcement coming up at 4 o'clock you don't want to miss. But this weekend, we experienced something that is so unfamiliar to me, unfamiliar to Sean, unfamiliar to Tiki, unfamiliar to everybody in the audience. All of our teams were kicking ass. We had a rare winning weekend. The New York Yankees bounced back from the opening day debacle by scoring a ton of runs. Giancarlo Stanton had a big couple of days. The Yankees win twice. The New York Mets, who were written off by everybody on this radio station, not named me, they respond by winning 2 out of 3, despite Saturday being a brutal loss. The New York Islanders. Hello.
I know.
Playoffs, here we come. They've won 4 in a row, including beating Nashville over the weekend. They're in 3rd place in the Metropolitan Division. The New York Rangers continue to kick ass as they march towards the President's Trophy. And then last night in Milwaukee, the New York Knickerbockers, in a game that we all thought was done at halftime, rise from the ashes and defeat the Milwaukee Bucks. This was one of those rare weekends where all of us kicked ass. So I begin the show on a positive note. Who won the weekend? Who was the ultimate winner? Because I got to tell you, I think it was the Mets, believe it or not.
The Mets?
Yes,
I'm
believe it
going
or
to go
not.
with the New York Red Bulls, who beat Cincinnati, sitting top of the table in the MLS.
They won 2?
Let's go, Red Bulls. Yes, they won 2-1 in Cincinnati. And so they're sitting top of the table as well.
What does that mean, sitting at the top of the table?
That means they're first.
Oh, okay.
They're one. That's what they say in
Are
soccer.
they the head of the table?
No, not the head of the table. We'll get to the Roman Reigns and the Cody and all that nonsense rock stuff at some insignificant point of the show. We'll talk about that.
Thank you.
But, yeah, they're sitting top of the table. But to me, I think, honestly, it was the Knicks. Because the Knicks came into it was kind of a split weekend emotionally for the Knicks. You start with this ridiculously bad loss to the Chicago Bulls.
Including Josh Hart getting ejected, which was BS.
Exactly. But whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You lost the game to the Bulls, a team you had no business losing to. But then you turn around on Sunday and you beat the Milwaukee Bucks. And I'm going to say it was convincing because the Bucks started to pull back into this thing until Doc Rivers inexplicably decided to sit everybody.
Yeah, you know why he did that? It was a minute to go. His team was down by 10, and he didn't want to have some dopey injury. Take notes, Tom Thibodeau.
Okay. But, I mean, it was a close game. It was winnable-ish. But still, he sat and he quit. But still, didn't matter. The Knicks played terribly, but then rebounded. And they've been in this, little – I don't want to say a spiral because it's all based on injury and unavailability and Jalen Brunson being amazing. But they had that 3-game loss then they losing streak, then they won one, and they lost again. And it was like, oh man, what the hell is this Knicks team? And then convincingly beating the Milwaukee Bucks, putting themselves a game and a half out of second place in the East.
They got a shot at the 2 seed.
Dude, they got a real shot at the 2 seed.
What they did on Sunday, look, we all won. But this is New York. It's like a sport. We compete on who won the most. But I'll tell you what the Knicks were able to accomplish. They got you fans, suckers, back into believing. That's what they accomplished on Sunday night.
That's exactly right.
They got you believing now we can be the 2 seed. We can knock off the Milwaukee. We can make that run of the NBA Finals we were dreaming about in January and early February. So I think what that win accomplished on Sunday, and it was damn impressive because I wrote them off for dead too when they're down by double digits and the Bucks look like they're pulling away. I didn't think they were going to win that game, and they have certainly put themselves back in position to possibly get this 2 seed, especially with the schedule Milwaukee has, playing Orlando twice and the way they've struggled. But more than even the standings, the Knick victory got you people out there believing in them again.
Yeah.
What the Mets accomplished, I'll tell you what mattered for the Mets, because I get it's April 8th. I get it. We're still only 9 games into the season. And I also get that they're still sitting with a 3-6 record, which is not amazing. But they needed to show their fans a pulse. After a 1-5 homestand and Met fans jumping off the Titanic and turning on everybody, we needed kind of a cleanse over the weekend. And the fact that they lost brutally on Saturday, and it was an awful, awful loss, the fact they were able to respond on Sunday, you get a big game from Francisco Lindor, which was needed. The starting pitching continues to be shockingly good. I think the Met fan on this Monday afternoon, not that we're thinking about making the playoffs or printing playoff tickets, I think we feel whole again. We feel like normal human beings again. We're not giving up on the season on April 8th. Now, speak to me Thursday at about 3:30 if they get swept by the Atlanta Braves. Maybe that's a completely different discussion.
I mean, honestly, I thought the Reds were going to be a challenge, but you're right about the pitching. Sevy even looked good. He looked badass with the beard, too. I kind of like that thing.
I inspired him.
Right. And then so Sevy was fine except for the second inning, but whatever. He managed his way through some difficult moments, and then Manaea was great. So the pitching has been it's starting to take the place of the hitting and the scoring. Now they got 11 hits on Sunday or whatever it was. They've started to hit actually and get runners on base, which ultimately means they're going to start scoring some more runs. But the pitching is what impressed me most from the Mets over the weekend. And it's how they ultimately were able to win finally a series in this early part of the season.
And that was important for our own mental sake. We were talking about this late last week. Will the Mets see 500 again? Now, they still have some work to do. We'll see how they fare against Atlanta this week. But I thought what happened over the weekend was a nice, calming, okay, the season won't be over before tax day. And then you've got the New York Islanders. And you should be scared. All of you should be scared.
Except the problem is to talk about the Islanders.
Except the problem is they may get the 3 seed or 3rd place in the Metro. You guys may not even face us. You may not even get an Islander first-round matchup, Shawnee. But they are on the rise. They've won 4 in a row. The goaltending's been awesome. They're playing the best hockey at the right time of year. Now, they've got 2 showdowns coming up with the Rangers this week, and that's going to be the real challenge. But the Islanders, from the depths of hell, from the depths of not making the playoffs and this season being a disaster, in-season coaching change, all the blown leads, they have risen, and they are alive in the Metropolitan. Are you scared?
I'm not scared. That's an Eastern Conference that's come back to the Islanders more than the Islanders have come back to it.
Hey, listen, you got to take advantage of what's in front of you.
A nice little weekend. A little cute win over the Preds. I think a good weekend for the Islander fans.
So they do who on the weekend then?
It's the Yankees and Giancarlo Stanton. We left Friday's home opener going, wait a minute, did we jump ahead of ourselves? The Yankees can't hit. And they come out.
Yeah, but they've won every game.
Yeah,
no.
It's been, 2-3 years since the Yankees won a home series versus a division rival? Think about that. That has not happened in 2 years at least. Correct me on the year. The Blue Jays come in, take care of business. This could have turned ugly real quick. And not only didn't it for the Yankees, Giancarlo Stanton, I think every Yankee fan rubbed their hands together Friday night and said, when is Jason Dominguez getting here so we could sit him down? And he raked for 2 days, including that grand slam yesterday. So the Yankees, 8-2, tied for the best record of baseball. Hello. Until somebody else proves otherwise, they had the best weekend.
Giancarlo had the weekend. I'll give Sean that, Tiki, because Giancarlo Stanton, when we were sitting here late Friday afternoon, right after opening day, and everybody's in the car after sitting freezing their tuchuses off in that lifeless opening day loss, the biggest talking point, besides nitpicking Aaron Boone, which I certainly did, was, hey, guys, how long can they stick with Giancarlo Stanton? And we even talked about dropping him in the lineup. I've mentioned him being a platoon player. What he did on Saturday and Sunday, first of all, he ended Sunday's game with that grand slam.
Right.
That was the right from the get-go, that was the backbreaker. But Stanton has a huge weekend. Hits a couple of home runs, goes 4 for 8. It was a very encouraging weekend for a guy who, if Giancarlo is half the player he used to be, this Yankee lineup to me goes from being very good to unstoppable.
Yeah, to dangerous. And look, the other, it's different with Lindor because Lindor is not going anywhere anytime soon. Nobody's calling for his head, but Lindor also had a great weekend, or at least a great Sunday.
He had a great day.
A great day.
Yeah.
More importantly, he just, I don't know, it was something about him hitting right-handed felt more natural for him, and the double, and then obviously the home run. So at least he feels like that streakiness is coming to the right side of the streak and not the downside of the streak. So it was great for Lindor as well, but from a baseball standpoint, it was without a doubt Giancarlo Stanton. It's hard to argue that him bringing confidence to himself, really, because it's not even about like his teammates. His teammates respect him because of how he carries himself. But for us and for himself, he needed that. He needed it bad.
The question is, can he build off this?
Yes.
They got the Marlins this week. They're going to face 3 left-handers, which is certainly based on last year's number. Giancarlo really raked against left-handed pitching. Can he build off of it? Can this become the weekend that catapults Giancarlo? Because here's the scary thing about the Yankee lineup, especially with the start Anthony Volpe's off to, and the fact that Juan Soto and Aaron Judge are getting on base at every turn. If you've got yourself a good Giancarlo Stanton, I'm not even saying a great Giancarlo Stanton. I certainly don't think we'll ever see the guy from 2017 with the Florida Marlins. But if you get a good Giancarlo Stanton, holy crap. This Yankee lineup is freaking scary.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But what a weekend. The Mets win a series. The Yankees win a series. The Islanders are in a playoff spot. The Rangers are hunting down the President's Trophy. The New York Knicks beat the Milwaukee Bucks. And then, of course, the capper to it all. I know you're excited. You got what you wanted. Cody Rhodes is the undisputed Universal Champion. Doesn't things feel kind of sucky today knowing Roman Reigns isn't our champion? I woke up this morning, I had a cloud hanging over me. I got to be honest with you. Every morning for 3.5 years, I've woken up knowing that our undisputed champion was Roman Reigns. I wake up this morning, and now we got Pipsqueak Cody leading the team. I don't know, man. Were you depressed at all, Loogie? Is it just me?
Not really, because I think Roman is still the guy leading everything, even though Cody has the belt. So
what does that mean?
What do you mean? You know what I mean. Rock and Roman are the big stars. Cody just has the belt now, so the Cody crybabies can shut up.
I had so much wrestling in my life over the weekend. We threw parties for my son since we were not going to go to WrestleMania.
I can't even believe that.
Well, we did.
I'm not doubting it, but I just can't believe that
we
you
had
do a party
parties.
for WrestleMania.
We bought WrestleMania stickers. We had WrestleMania decorations. It was freaking unbelievable. I am WrestleMania'd out. Even I'm WrestleMania'd out. But what a weekend. A weekend of winning, ladies and gentlemen. For all of us. We'll get your calls coming up, 877-337-6666. Coming up at 4 o'clock, a special programming sports-related announcement you don't want to miss. Let's go to Pete calling from Seaford. What's up, Pete?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Thanks for taking my call.
Good.
You know, the palate cleanser, Evan, for the weekend was absolutely WrestleMania. I called you guys a few months ago saying that I bought my son. Well, I hadn't quite bought him at the time I called you, but I was going to buy my son tickets to Mania. When should I go? I didn't know what The Rock was going to be doing. Then he turns heel, but he's over as a heel. It was amazing. And anyway, we went both nights in Philly.
Wow.
It was absolutely electric. My son's 7 years old. He had the absolute time of his life. I am not a big Cody Rhodes guy. I think he's a little underwhelming on the mic, maybe even a little overrated on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I was a little sad for my tribal chief.
I was sad, too. I'm glad I'm not alone. I got a little emotional this morning when I woke up knowing he wasn't the champion. Where did you sit for the 2 nights, by the way, at the Link?
So we splurged on night one. So we were down in section 106, like row 2. We were all the way at the front for night one, and then we sat all the way up, looking square at the ring. I got an unbelievable video of when the Undertaker came out and you know camera phones are so great these days.
Yeah.
With the lights out and me zoomed in, I could see him standing in the ring with the lights out. But that was I was hoping for Austin. Even my 7-year-old was chanting. Once Cena came out, I thought Austin was a lock to come out, but you know what? Undertaker brought the house down.
It's so funny you say that because, and this is the beauty of the world we live in now. When I was 7 years old, my dad would tell me about Bruno Sammartino, but I never saw Bruno Sammartino. He didn't mean anything to me. If Bruno Sammartino showed up at WrestleMania 9, it would have meant nothing to me, right? But because of the history we now have of the WWE Network and YouTube, my 7-year-old, same age as Pete and Seaford's kid, his favorite wrestler is Stone Cold Steve Austin. And so he was sitting next to me last night saying, when's Austin coming? When's Austin coming? And I thought the exact same thing Pete thought. The Undertaker was nice. It caused a huge reaction. What happened to Stone Cold?
We don't have breaking news.
Oh.
We needed to hear that last night instead of the gongs.
I know, but I'm glad that Pete was able to go and you enjoyed your time. It was an insane weekend all the way around. More on this weekend coming up, 877-337-6666.